What is up, Rams fans? It's your two favorite Rams fans back at it. First down Rams.
Yeah,
Today we are going to be talking about the Rams and Saints game. We actually got a game this week. There's no bye week, which
yeah.
is amazing. This last week was a little bit boring. So we got a game to talk about. But the Rams also made a trade for a cornerback in Roger McCreary. We'll talk about that. Of course, we'll get into your comments. We'll get into our segments of what's more likely, but it's just the Rams and over Rams action Wednesday. You guys know how the show runs, though. But I want to see how my guy Peo Time is doing. How are you doing today, Peo?
I'm doing good, Rams house. And I will just point out that the one Sunday that the Rams are on a bye week happens to be like the most boring Sunday of football of the season.
Yeah,
Is there any relation?
I don't think it's a coincidence.
You tell me. Yeah, yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Um, but no, you know what? The bye week, it's weird. I always like when the bye week happens, I'm like, okay, good. Like Rams can rest up, heal up. And I
Yeah.
actually think the Rams use the bye week historically under McVay very well.
Hmm.
Because it seems like they go on runs of wins after bye weeks the past two seasons. So I'm hoping
Yeah.
that happens again this year. But yeah, I miss the Rams. I do.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been so long since we've seen them play. So I'm so
Yeah.
excited for Rams versus Saints. Can't wait. SoFi is going to be so rocking. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely excited to see how that goes. Before we get into anything, just want to shout out some people here in the chat.
Yeah.
We got Bruce in the chat. We got the guy that we're still trying to learn how to pronounce his name, but we love you. You're in here and we appreciate you. We'll get your name one day. We keep saying it. We got
Miambi.
Luna Zone.
Miambi.
Yeah, I appreciate your effort there in trying. And then we got Zakia Thomas, I believe. I may
Cool.
be pronouncing that wrong, but I appreciate everybody who's in here tonight. You guys always make the show so much fun and
Yeah.
make the show really what it is. So, what we kind of want to talk about here, beginning first, is the Roger McCreary trade. The Rams adding
Yeah.
a cornerback this week. I don't know how many people were expecting that. What were your initial reactions to it? And now that it's kind of had time to breathe and for the dust to settle, what are your thoughts on the whole trade?
So I'm not gonna lie, this trade made so much sense to me. Before the trade happened, I do remember reading a couple of articles about how McCreary was definitely on the trade block for the Titans. And I remember thinking, you know what, that would make a lot of sense for the Rams to do that. And like First and Tuna, he reached out to me to like ask like, oh, like because I guess he was writing an article about what Rams content creators would think about a trade. And McCreary was at the top of my list of like, I know he's not necessarily like the flashy name,
Hmm.
but like in terms of he's on the final year of his deal with the Titans and he's been productive. He definitely comes across, from my understanding about kind of his game, he's more of a physical corner. And I don't think that that's a bad thing for this Rams defense to bring him in. And yeah, overall, I think the Rams were, for the past couple of weeks, we've kind of known the Rams were looking to gain some some help at the at the corner position. So the trade did not shock me. But
Hmm.
when it happened, I was like, yeah, good trade, good trade. What about
Yeah,
you?
I liked it too. He's definitely one of those underrated guys in the league, and I think part of the reason for that was because the team he's playing for.
Yeah,
I think we've seen this so many times of like teams that are just either like middle of the pack or just towards the downward slope of things. A lot of times they're good and underrated players just don't get the attention.
yeah,
I think that was the case with McCreary here too, and I like the depth that he has to the cornerback room. If nothing else, I think he's going to carve out a good role for the Rams. But if nothing else, like I was always worried about with this cornerback room with the Kello being out. Like if somebody goes down, who's going to step up there? Because we don't have a lot of cornerbacks, and we obviously have safeties who can play cornerback. But that was kind of my thought of it. But I definitely like McCreary. I think it's a low risk and high reward kind of thing because the Rams only gave up a conditional fifth round pick. They got a sixth round pick back. He's on an expiring deal, so it's not like you have a big contract on your books. So everything about it to me, like I think it's the right move. And the more I think about it,
mhm,
like I don't think the Rams really need a big name corner like a Denzel Ward or a Sauce Gardner or a JC Horn, like any of these kinds of guys, however realistic that was or not. I don't really think that's something that this team needs. And I think somebody like McCreary could be just enough for what they need. And
yeah,
again, we're going to get Akello back at some point. and that's going to elevate the room. But even without him, they've been able to win games and find games to be able to win with their scheme. So I definitely like the player that we got. I love how we didn't have to give up much. And I honestly just agree with the move. I like what they did there.
Yeah, and from Roger McQuarrie's perspective, you are on the Titans, who arguably potentially the worst team in the league, and if it wasn't for Arizona blowing it, they would be a winless team. And so then you get traded to a Super Bowl contending team like the Rams, 5-2. His career has new opportunities because of this trade.
Yeah. Definitely excited for him. I thought of the Von Miller quote whenever he got traded to the Rams, where he's like, "I went to bed like 2-5 and woke up 7-0 or whatever it was when he got traded." It's like that must be a great feeling as a player.
No kidding.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see. Do you think he's going to get in on the game this week? Because I'm hearing stuff like Darius Williams might not play with the injury he's suffering. If Darius doesn't play, do you think McCreary gets put in, or do you think he needs more time?
Yeah, I think we're going to need to wait to hear about practice reports.
Yeah,
probably by Friday we'll have a better idea of it. I could see a scenario where he doesn't play that much. I know Sheriff Joe on Sheriff and Tuna, they talked about, or Sheriff Joe was talking about how he felt it would be at like a limited capacity. Might, depending on Darius Williams' availability, there might be a need for him to play, extensively. The nice thing about it, he is a veteran corner. Like you're not signing him off like a practice squad or something. So I guess maybe it comes down to, what's Chris Shula's comfort level with putting him in. But I think he at least dresses for the game. I don't know how much we'll see of him though.
Yeah, I mean, like even when the Rams traded for Jalen Ramsey, I think the very first week they got him, they put him out there just to cover and be in one-on-one scenarios. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey's a different caliber guy, but I think there's a way to make it work, and you could even vanilla down your defense just a little bit if you need him to be in there.
I have the Jays and Dodgers on in the background. And the Jays just scored a run.
Nice.
I see all you Dodgers fans. I see you, Daniel. Yeah, I see you. I see you, Steven. And
that game a couple nights ago was crazy.
Oh man, I did not stay up for the entirety of it, but that was insane for anyone who did. And as a lifelong Blue Jays fan, I'm very amazed. But I know we're talking about the Rams here, but everyone knows who I'm cheering for. But good to see you all in the chat. We see Addison in here. Muadi.
There we go. Muad'Dib.
Yeah.
Did we get it finally?
There we go. Muad'Dib.
I think we got it. I like this comment here. It says, Rams finally getting a good trade on the Titans instead of us sending our stars to them. That was my biggest takeaway from this trade.
Yeah, 100%. Over all the stinking years where we trade Robert Woods and Ernest Jones to them for nothing. Yeah. Finally, the Rams are like, hey, Titans, you owe us one, and glad it worked out.
Yeah, because not only is it like, do we get like kind of bad values for our trade, like our players we trade away, but it seems like sometimes we give up a little bit too much for the players we trade for. But in this case, I was like, I feel like the Titans maybe could have gotten more out of this. But yeah, I definitely like the trade. We'll see if he gets in any of the action. But whether it's this week or a couple weeks from now, I definitely think that this trade's going to make impacts on things. And the thing I'm most curious about is like how it affects Quentin Lake and his use, just because he's not just a slot corner. Obviously, he gets used everywhere, but he primarily plays that slot role, and he's done it at a high level. Yeah. And that's where McCreary plays at his best. So I'm like, I wonder how the Rams are going to use him, because I know he can play outside, but he's best inside. So like, will they use this as Lake to be more of a safety, or I don't know. That's what I'm going to be curious to watch. What do you think?
Yeah, Quentin Lake's job is very secure on this team. Like, he's one of the Rams' best players. Yeah. So ultimately, and he's an intelligent enough player. Maybe it's sort of a collaborative effort of how Lake is used, with the personnel that they have in there, between him and Chris Shula. But I could definitely see a scenario where because and even Sean McVay said so on the Coach McVay show this week that they were really glad they have a guy like Quentin Lake who can do a lot of different things on defense. So because of that versatility, tend to incline that if McQuarrie did get extensive playing time, he would likely be in the nickel.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see, but another chess piece for Chris Shula, which is exciting.
Yep.
I want to address this comment here from Adidas. He says, Rams fan here, we should pick up a receiver like Myers from the Raiders. I've been seeing this topic about the Rams picking up a receiver, whether it's Odell or whether it's a trade for even Rashid Shaheed, who we're going to play this week. I've seen that brought up. Do you think that the Rams need to make a move at receiver? I'm guessing because it's like the Tutu Atwell injury. But I've seen a lot of people kind of like clamoring for a receiver at the deadline. What do you think?
Yeah, like it's never a bad idea to add more playmakers to your roster. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't see a need for it. Like I think the Rams are really happy with the receivers that they have in obviously Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, but also Jordan Whittington and Xavier Smith. So I just don't see it happening, but it's never a bad idea to add more playmakers, especially if you want to go on a playoff run.
Yeah. And I definitely agree with kind of what the chat is saying here. Like they're talking about the depth that we have. And I agree. Like the Rams have really good depth. I think the only argument you could make about making a trade for a receiver would be, first off, if it's not expensive, but second off, if you want a legit like field stretching option, because I think the Rams have really good receivers, really good depth, but do they have another like Tutu Atwell field stretcher kind of guy? Not right now. Do they need it for like the next 4 games that Tutu is not going to be playing? That's really the question that you're getting at there.
I do think like Xavier Smith isn't as fast as Tutu, but he can fill that role.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's quicker than people think, I feel like.
Definitely. Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I think it gets to the point where it's like you could be kind of wanting your offense to be too perfect at that point, because it's like you have Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams still. Like, yeah, Tutu is going to be out, but like, do you really need to trade for a deep threat? Especially like if you trade for one, Tutu Atwell comes back after 4 weeks. You paid him like $10 million fully guaranteed to play this year. Like, I kind of see that being redundant. Like, we're going to have the speed return to the offense. If Tutu would miss the entire year, maybe you're having a different conversation. But for me, I'm like, I don't think the Rams are in desperate need to go out and make a move. But definitely, I don't think I'd be against it if they did something, especially because they know what they're doing. But
yeah.
Let's see. Jordan Whittington or Xavier Smith could fill that slot. Oh, yeah, definitely. And Puka's back, which he obviously plays the slot receiver. But let's get into the actual Rams and Saints game here.
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw at you, what are your kind of overall thoughts during game week this week about this game? Some things you want the Rams to do, all the classic game preview kind of stuff.
To be honest, I'd like to see them build upon their performance against the Jags, where they used all of, like they just spread the ball out like so well, right? And obviously, like I'm always excited for when Puka has a big game and he goes pukular, or when Kyren Williams can have a big game. But I for a game like this, I would love like spread the love, right? Like get Terrence Ferguson involved, get Higbee involved, get Parkinson involved, get Xavier Smith involved. I hope that this would be a game that the Rams don't necessarily need to use their star power as much. So I'm hoping similar to the Jags, we see Stafford spreading the ball around like peanut butter on a sandwich.
Yeah, I loved seeing that versus the Jaguars. Just how creative the Rams got.
Yeah,
how many different guys? I think it was like 10 different people caught the football in that game, and refreshing to see, because you obviously want your guys like Puka and Devontae getting a lot of targets. They're some of the best receivers in the league. Like, you got to give them the ball. But I think you keep the defenses most honest when you give it to everybody on the offense. And we even saw the Rams mixing up personnel, bringing in 3 tight ends, or going 11 personnel and all the receivers. And so I definitely think, and this is no disrespect to the Saints, I don't think you're required to get super creative against them to have to win this game. Yeah. But I think it would be nice, like you said, to see them build off of what they did in Jacksonville by using all the different people and not just have them say like, because McVay did say after that, like, I definitely want to spread the football around more. Like this is your opportunity to show that and to use
Yeah.
different people and truly have your offense be a different kind of challenge each week for teams because you're changing up the looks and changing up the people who are getting the football.
Well, and let's tell it like it is. The Saints are a team that are vying for the number one overall pick next year. They are in a roster evaluation mode where the Rams are in a, hey, we know what we have in our roster.
Mm-hmm.
We need this win because we're going for a Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
The Saints, they're in a rebuild. They're starting Tyler Shuck, their second round draft pick, which I totally think is the right call for them to do for their team because they have to evaluate him and compare him to this upcoming class of quarterbacks in the draft. Do they want to stick with him, right? Do they want to move off him? So crazy that his first start is going to be against, Jared Verse, Byron Young, Braden Fitz, and Kobe Turner, and a Rams defense that is hungry for sacks. So I do think that the Saints' goals for this game are dramatically different than what the Rams are, where where these two teams are. Like, obviously there is the any given Sunday sort of thing, but like the Rams got to handle their business on Sunday.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that it's like you can't be anything else but hopeful when you see the news about Tyler Shuck starting this week, like a rookie against this defense. Like you can't help, and I'm sure the defense is getting excited too to play him, but it'll definitely be interesting to see how the whole game plays out. He was asking, he was talking about if we score less than 40 points, do you consider this game a loss? What are your thoughts on that?
No, I would love to see a 40 burger as much as anybody. Because there's so many things that can happen. Like maybe the Saints do have one or two really good drives where they take like 8 minutes off the clock, right? With Alvin Kamara back there, that's possible. Like if they play the ball hog game, to be honest, that's the way that the Saints somehow can win this game, is stealing time of possession, keeping Stafford and the offense off the field. But I think that if the Saints were to keep this game close like that, that would be my only like cause for like, oh no, like the Rams are off to a slow start, which they've been known to do from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think this will be a multiple score win for the Rams. I say that not out of any shot against the Saints, but just out of confidence in the Rams and where they're at.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just like you just get a win and get out of there is like the most important thing, obviously. But I do think that this is one of those games where it's like you kind of hope that they win by a good amount, just given the fact like this team has one win on the year.
Yeah.
And like they're starting a rookie quarterback. You're at home. You're coming off the bye. You had 2 weeks to prepare for it. Like everything's pointing to the fact like if you're a Super Bowl team, you should be able to win by a lot of points and put up a good show. For me, the thing I'm going to be looking at more so than anything is like, are the Rams going to continue like they did against the Jaguars to erase their unforced issues or like the errors that they're forcing upon themselves like they were all year? If they can continue like they did against the Jaguars to not shoot themselves in the foot, do good in the red zone, not have any like kinds of drops and things where it's like, man, like this team could be doing this. That's kind of what I'm looking for more so. And I think the scoreboard will reflect a good game if you clean those things up. So,
and one other thing to think about is the Saints have a lot of players rumored to be on the trade block right now with Tuesday's trade deadline coming up. There's a chance that they are cautious with some of their better players, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know Chris Olave, their wide receiver, he's been, widely discussed that he's a trade target for a team. I don't know about Alvin Kamara, but like, I don't think it's crazy to think the Saints kind of pull some players out of this game if they know that some deals are coming down down the way, right?
Yeah, it's weird for me. Like, I think that'd be such a weird mindset to be like, we're going to trade these players. Let's like kind of like roll over and like take them out. Well, I mean, we'll see what ends up happening here because like obviously coaches and players in this league are incredibly competitive. So they're going to want to win games. But like, even with them trying at their best, I feel pretty good about this game for sure.
Yep.
But let's see. Shot by Nolan says, if they put a complete game for 4 quarters, I'm satisfied. I definitely agree with that. And I think that this is a game that you can do that. We got Sheriff Joe in here from Rams Showcase. Shout out to him. He says, Saints held the awesome Bucks offense down well. Division game for sure, but their defense isn't really terrible. Scoring 13 probably gets you a win. And that's the interesting thing. It's like, I kind of talked about this in my game preview this week. Like, I think if there's any strength you can look at on this team, it's like parts of their defense, not their entire unit, but like parts of their defense is playing well. And it's more like the offense just has a lot of questions on it right now. And the defense I still think is gettable, especially with the veteran quarterback and the team that we have. But like you said, that was a divisional game, but it is interesting how they were able to kind of hold down the Bucks a little bit. But even if they found a way to do that, I just don't see them scoring a ton of points on this Rams defense.
Yeah. We got shout out GP Shadow. Good to see you. Thinking it might be a trap game, but hopefully not. Yeah, I'm hoping that SoFi is just so loud, and I really hope we see the Ramley home crowd. That's the home field advantage has been building over the past couple of years, and this is a game that I think the Rams have a chance to. The Ramley really has a chance to showcase that. And I'm excited to see what the vibe is at SoFi for sure.
Yeah, I think this actually has a really good chance of being one of the better like home crowd games for the Rams this year. Because the Saints, I think when they're better, they travel a little bit better. Right now, obviously, they're not the greatest of teams. In the Rams, like we saw in that Colts game, the Rams fan base completely showed up. I think we're going to have another one of those games. But I want to answer this question. He says, what does a complete game look like for Rams house? For me, I think it's like what you'd expect. It's like all of your different facets of your team playing well, complementing each other, kind of like we saw against the Jaguars. So for me, if they're playing a complete game where different sides of the ball, whether it's offense, defense, or special teams, are complementing each other and kind of building off the momentum, because I think that's what happens a lot of the times in like big complete wins is like one operation, one side of the ball is playing so well, it's infectious, and the energy kind of transmits to the other side, and all of the momentum transmits to the other side. And to me, it just like at the end of the day, a complete game is just executing well, doing what you should with a good roster. And so that's kind of what I look at for a complete game, kind of the cliches, but that's the way I look at it.
Yeah. This is a really good point by GP's Shadow. Saints fans don't travel like that. Yeah. And the Ram fans definitely do show up and no one says anything. We've seen that. Absolutely. But you're in the right show, GP Shadow. We will acknowledge that the Ramley's growing. It's growing.
Yeah. Well, like going back to the person I was talking about, the Saints fans not traveling well. I was thinking about it recently. I think it was 2018 or 2019. That do you remember that play against the Saints where Cooper Kupp had like the 60, 70 yard like slant route for a touchdown against the Saints? That game, there were a lot of Saints fans in the building, and they were really good back then with Drew Brees, and the Rams were still kind of newer to LA. But you go back to the game in 2023 against the Saints at home, where Puka had that crazy catch. The fan base looked a lot better then, and I think like you said, it's only getting better, and we've seen that. And so obviously, fan base doesn't always win you games, but it can help your pass rush. It helps for making communication hard for the other offenses. And it's just fun to like be excited at home and cheering and then see the stadium erupt too. Like It's cool to have that kind of atmosphere for sure.
Yeah. Looking for a job promotion here. Gave away my tickets to my boss. Okay.
You know, if I was your boss, I would give you a promotion. Be like,
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Before we kind of move on to anything else, what is kind of something that you think the Rams need to do in order to win this game or to win it the way that we want them to do? What are kind of, I guess, keys to the game in your mind?
You know what? I would love if this Rams D-line, like they're already known as one of the most ferocious units in the NFL. I would love it if this is just one of those games where Tyler Shuck is under pressure the entire game.
Yeah.
And, sure, like hopefully the Rams get multiple sacks, but even just like making him make ill-advised throws, right?
Yeah.
Give him his welcome to the NFL moment, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's as I think about this game and think of like the specific position group that has an opportunity to really make a statement to the rest of the NFL, even more so than they already have. I just think this Rams D line has an opportunity on Sunday to do something special.
Definitely. I was looking at actually when I was doing research for this game on like how the Saints have gotten to this point and all of that. I like to go out and check out like other like teams and fan bases, content creators, and see what they're saying about it. Yeah, it's like a really good way to be able to see their perspective on things. And a lot of them are saying like whether it be in the post game press conference comments or just their videos alone, they're talking about like this offensive line is young and inexperienced compared to what they had in the past of like good veteran offensive linemen, to where they were talking about how they were higher on Spencer Rattler than a lot of people were, but he wasn't having protection and there'd be people in his face right away.
Yeah.
So then you think about that of having a rookie thrown out there for his first start with an offensive line that's still gelling, that's still young, going up against one of the top pass rushers in the league. Like that has to get you excited. Yeah. And I feel like that's got to be an advantage. And I really do think like whether the Saints try to slow down our pass rush with a quick passing game and running game, I really do think you're going to feel the Rams pass rush in this game. That's just one of those where it's like, there's no way that you don't. Like you got to see at least a few sacks in this game, in my opinion.
Yeah. What on this game specifically, what are your thoughts on Kyren and Corum, the Rams running backs in this game?
It's, I have a weird feeling about it. Like, I don't quite know what to expect for this game. I think if they're given enough opportunities, I think that they're going to have a good game. Like, I could definitely see Kyren over 100 yards in this game. But I don't know. Like, I also have a feeling like the Rams are going to want to pass all over the place. Like, I mean, like we have McVay. He likes to do that a lot. But I have that feeling about it. I don't know if it's the fact that Brandon Staley is their defensive coordinator now. I feel like there's got to be at least a couple concepts that McVay knows can beat a Brandon Staley defense just because he went up against him in practice when he was on the Rams. He knows him well. And it's kind of similar to actually the way the Rams run their defense. So I think that if they're given enough opportunities, I see Kyren going over 100 yards. But I also have a feeling that we're going to be throwing a lot this game too.
And you know what? I have that feeling too. And then it might just be one of those Sundays where, we just ran the ball like 30 times with Kyren, right?
Yeah. Because imagine if the Rams win like, let's say 21-6 or something. And people are like, we didn't win by enough, whatever the case may be.
Right.
And it's like, what if we played the ball control style and just like you said, ran the ball, played good defense and won? Like, that's the thing like about this Rams team in general, but also like in a game like this in particular, like I feel like there's so many ways I can see the Rams winning this game versus when you're playing a top tier competitor, you're like, okay, the Rams need to do this and this, like specific things. In this kind of game, I'm like, I feel like the Rams could win this kind of game in a bunch of different ways. And that's a credit to the Rams team, but that's also like just pointing to where the Saints are right now and where their team is at.
Totally.
Let's see. I'm going to answer this question from GP Shadow here.
Yeah.
Have you guys got a Rivalries jersey? If not, who would you get? I have not yet.
I want to.
For me, if I were to get a Rivalries jersey, I would love Stafford because I don't have a Stafford jersey. But at the same time, like if I were to get a Stafford jersey, I would kind of want it to be like one that he's worn a lot because these rivalry jerseys are not going to be worn a lot. So I would probably go with Verse in a Rivalries jersey. I think that would be really cool. But I'll have to give it some thought.
Yeah, I think you know what? I think I would actually go Quentin Lake.
Yeah, that's honestly not a bad pick.
I would like a Quentin Lake rivalry jersey. Yeah.
Quentin Lake, I like how he's getting a lot more love recently.
Yeah.
Like whether it be interviews or just other fans talking about him. Like it's cool to see. Shout out First and Tuna's guy. He loves Quentin Lake. But Quentin Lake rivalries jersey would be awesome.
Totally.
Okay. Do you have any other thoughts before we get into our segments here?
No, I'm excited for this game. Glad Rams football is back. It's the NFL needs the Rams clearly because 1 week without them and it was the worst week of football all season long.
Yeah. Excited. I'm just going to point out this comment real quick before we go in here. We all need a Havenstein jersey. Last St. Louis Rams for Rams house. I would not mind that. Havenstein. I see a lot of people think that Tyler Higbee was on the St. Louis team, but he wasn't. He was drafted after that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, Havenstein definitely holding it down. Who knows if it's his last year or not, but I would not mind a Havenstein jersey, honestly.
That's
It
a
would
good
just look
pick.
weird on me because I'm so skinny. Like wearing a 79 like offensive lineman jersey and I'm super skinny. I think that'd be funny. All right. We are going to get into our Over Rams action segment
Ooh,
today.
yeah.
If you guys don't know what Over Rams Action Wednesday is, I'm sure you guys do know by now. It's a spinoff of the Rich Eisen Overreaction Monday, and it's basically hot takes pitched out to you guys in the chat and to Peo Time, and you're going to react. Is this a hot take or is it a fair take? So that's kind of how this thing works. Of course, every topic is about the Rams. So let's just start here with number one.
Okay.
Number one. The Rams will have more interceptions than Saints touchdowns this game.
Ooh. That's a good one. Starting off strong. I'm gonna say that's not an over Rams action. I could see this being a scenario where, like, the Saints struggle to make it past, midfield, and even if the Saints do make it into the red zone, the Rams defense has done really well against teams like this in the red zone. So, and the Saints have had their struggles finishing drives. So yeah, I don't think this is an over Rams action. I could see the Rams getting like 3 interceptions.
Yeah, and it's like this is also like it's talking about like what the Rams defense could do, but also talking a little bit more about like I just don't know if I see the Saints team scoring a lot of points. It's like it's hard to imagine, but obviously any Sunday anything can happen. I still remember that 2020 Jets game. Everybody was so confident, and so like you never know what's going to happen. But
You never know.
had to throw this one in here. I want to bring up this comment before we move any further. He says,
Yeah.
"Can you define if hot versus cold is good or bad?" So what I mean by like the hot takes is like an overreaction, basically. Like if I were to say the Rams are going to win 7 Super Bowls in a row, like that would probably be an overreaction or like a hot take. And then if it's not an over Rams action or overreaction, then it's like a fair take. Like, oh yeah, I could definitely see that happening. So
Yeah.
let me know if that answers your question there. But that's kind of what we're going for. We got Bruce saying, sure, more interceptions than Saints touchdowns. Love to hear that.
Yep.
Ram Showcase says Rams will totally have more picks. Bad luck, Shuck. Gonna have to get one or get got for sure. Definitely agree. I think things are just lining up well for the Rams here, but almost too well. Like it almost feels like this is too good. So we'll see. But that's gonna be our first one. Second one, in a similar vein, Byron Young will have more sacks by the end of the year than the second place NFC West team has wins by the end of the year.
Ooh, because he's at 9 right now. That's interesting. So it'll probably be either the Seahawks or the Niners. I'm gonna say that's not an over Rams action. I think Byron Young is on pace to, like, let's assume second place is an 11 or 12 win team. Yeah, I think in the next, back half of the season, Agent Zero is going to have, a healthy number of sacks. I could see him getting to 15 plus sacks on the season.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think this is a hot take at all. In a similar vein, Sheriff Joe Back says BY will have more. I'm thinking he can pull off 15 to 16-ish, which definitely would win that. That's what I'm pretty like high on Byron Young with what he's doing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's crazy to say he gets another 4 sacks by the end of the year based on the pace he's on right now. So I definitely agree with that. Throw a little bit of an NFC West twist in there.
I like it. I like it.
Number 3, we got the Rams will score 30 plus points again this weekend, back-to-back weeks with 30 plus points.
Yeah, I don't think that's an over Rams action, right? Like, I honestly think the only reason that won't happen is if the Rams don't execute. Like the Rams have the talent to put 30 up every week. It always comes down to execution. And I totally think if the Rams execute, especially in the first half, I could see them putting up 30.
Yeah, I agree. It'd be fun to see that back-to-back weeks too, to continue to build on it and kind of get that reputation out there again that the Rams can score that many points and
Yeah.
that they're not a team that's only going to be scoring in the low to mid 20s. So,
Yep.
Sheriff Joe Bag says, I'm buying that. Our offense felt more unlocked in London. Definitely
Yeah.
agree. And that was without Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens when he gets inserted back in there. It's kind of crazy. I feel like not a lot of Rams fans are talking about the fact he's actually playing this week or like trending towards playing. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I like Dog says, let's get a Chiefs and Rams Super Bowl this season.
I'm here for it.
I'm not opposed.
Nope.
Just get the Rams in the Super Bowl. I'm not opposed.
Yep.
All right. Number 4. The Rams end the season with the number 1 seed. Okay, so this is a little bit more what's more likely, but we'll roll with it.
That's okay.
The Rams will end the season with the number 1 seed, or the Saints end the season with the number 1 overall pick.
Okay. Interesting. Let's talk it out. So the Rams have to. So for the number 1 seed in the NFC, you're talking about the Eagles. You're talking about the Lions. Bucks are still in that conversation, even though they're banged up. You're talking about
Packers,
the Seahawks,
maybe.
the Packers.
Yeah.
I think the Packers tie would maybe hurt them.
Yeah.
But with the Saints, it's coming down to probably the Saints, the Jets, the Titans.
Yeah.
And I think I read somewhere that wait, I gotta see the Saints schedule. 1 second. Because how many more like realistic wins are on the Saints schedule? I'm gonna say, let me see. So okay, so the Saints play the Jets week 16 and the Titans week 17.
Ooh. That's going to be interesting to watch.
Oddly enough, good job, schedule makers.
Yeah. Unintentionally.
I'm gonna say it's more likely just because it's kind of down to those 3 teams, and there's a lot of variables that can happen with seeding and stuff like that. I'm gonna say it's more likely the Saints end up with the number 1 overall seed.
Yeah. You're talking about number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sheriff Joe Bags thinks both are happening. Honestly, it's possible. We'll see. I think the biggest thing that could get in the Rams' way for like getting the number 1 seed this year is it feels like the NFC is just super strong. Like this year in particular, there's a lot of strong teams. And like even right now, do the Rams set at like the 6th seed? I think it's at like the number 6 seed as it stands right now or somewhere around there.
I think so, yeah.
They only have 2 losses on the year to this point. So that kind of speaks to how good the NFC is this year. So last comment here. I'll say Rams don't lose a game post-Thanksgiving. Rams getting the top seed for sure.
Ooh,
there are a few bad teams. Saints defense will accidentally get them 2 to 3 wins. Or 2 to 3 wins.
Okay.
Interesting. We'll have to definitely keep an eye on it for sure. All right. Last one. Number 5. Trading for Roger McCreary is not the last trade the LA Rams will make in this season.
You know what? I think that's an over Rams action. I don't think we see any more trade. I don't like unless there's some disgruntled player out there that the Rams really love. I don't see. I felt like cornerback was the only position the Rams were possibly going to trade for, and they just did that with that trade. I don't think another trade's coming.
Yeah, I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't say that it's like impossible that they're going to trade for another player. I could definitely see that happening. But kind of to your point, it's like what position would they go out and try to upgrade at this point? And what player would fill that need that would be available? And like I think if the Rams rolled with this roster, even if they didn't trade for McCreary, if they rolled with the roster that they had to the end of the year, I think they'd be fine. Yep. So definitely wouldn't put it past them, but I wouldn't say that I'm totally expecting it unless like something crazy happens.
Totally.
But Rams Showcase says true. We've got a roster spot open, and I think it gets filled Monday or Tuesday via the trade for someone no one sees coming.
Ooh, okay.
That'd be entertainment at the very least.
Yeah.
Who knows who that could be, but like I definitely I could see it going either way. It's just
Mhm.
I'm just trying to picture who that player would be, and kind of to Joe's point here, it's maybe it's somebody we don't see coming. So yeah,
This is
Parkinson on the move, I could see that too.
There's been speculation about him getting traded a lot, so you never
Yeah,
know.
I just don't know what team would want him, to be honest.
Team that needs tight end help, I guess, right?
Yeah. Sheriff Joe Mack says, "Watch it be running back."
Yeah.
But before we move on to yours, I want to bring up this topic here. Bring back Odell. I've seen a lot of people talking about this. He's still a free agent right now, so we could negotiate whatever contract. What would your thoughts be if you were in the Rams position, or even if you're not, if the Rams ended up bringing back Odell? What would your thoughts be on that?
Love Odell, especially he played really well when he was a Ram,
Yeah,
and he's even acknowledged that he regrets not coming to some sort of deal with to stay in LA. I just don't see it happening just because of the injuries that have stacked up with Odell. There's a reason he's not on a team right now. But I'd be okay with it. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be okay with it, especially I don't think they would bring him in for a crazy contract. That would be the only way that I'd be like, oh, I don't like this trade or this signing. But Odell, I don't think would be coming for the money. It would just be for strictly playing.
Yep.
I think out of any team in the league, the Rams would be one of those teams that would be able to find a way to get a couple touchdowns out of him. But at what point are you just forcing the ball to another receiver and just trying to make something work? So I love it for the vibes and kind of the nostalgia of that Super Bowl season and almost finishing off the business that he couldn't in that Super Bowl.
Yep.
But the Rams roster is in such a different spot than they were when they went out to get him. Now they have an ex receiver in Devontae Adams. They have plenty of receivers of depth behind him, which you couldn't argue as much back in that year. And like you said, Odell, I don't know if he's quite the same as he used to be. So that's kind of where my head's at with that.
Yeah.
Rams Showcase says, isn't Robert Woods on or in a free agent? Last I heard, he was the Steelers practice squad. That's where he was.
Right. Yeah.
I would love Robert Woods just to cut both Robert Woods and Odell I love, but Robert Woods would be such a fun player to have back just for the memories and some of everything he did for the Rams. But at one point, is it how much is it emotion and kind of those emotional triggers pulling you back to a player than how good they are at this point?
Totally.
But
well, are you ready to get into what's more likely, but it's just the Rams?
More than ready. Let's do this thing.
Okay. I'm pretty proud of these. I got 5 here. Or no, wait, 1, 2. Yeah, I got 5. Okay. So everyone in the chat, we would love for you to play along. I'm going to give 2 scenarios, and then you decide, and Rams House will decide which one is more likely to happen. Pretty much all of them this week focus on the Rams versus Saints game. So Here we go. What's more likely? Rams score on their opening drive versus the Saints, or Kyren Williams has a run over 25 yards on Sunday?
I'm going to say Rams score on their opening drive versus the Saints. I think their momentum is going to continue from the Jaguars game and how hot they started there. You had a whole bye week to have another scripted drive. Scripted drives usually are your best ones, so I'm going to lock in that one.
Okay. Yeah. I'd probably agree with that. Yeah. Not that I don't think Kyren Williams is capable of a 25-yard plus run.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would agree with that. Let's see here. See Rams Showcases saying Rams score on their opener. Yeah. And so is I Like Dogs. Awesome. Okay. Number 2. What's more likely? Xavier Smith returns a kick return for a touchdown, or Terrence Ferguson catches a touchdown in this game versus the Saints?
Both are likely, in my opinion, but I'm going to say Terrence Ferguson catches a touchdown this game. I think he's only getting used more and more as weeks go on. So I would say that's more likely, but I definitely could see a kick return from Xavier Smith.
I'm going to say I think it's Xavier Smith time.
Ooh. I can see it.
He's been so close. Yeah. And so I could see Ferg scoring again, absolutely. But I think that kick return is coming. I'm just saying it.
Yeah. This is kind of funny right here from Ram Showcase. Fergum up, who scores in America first?
Yeah,
That's funny.
that's
Honestly,
amazing.
that's a toss up.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
it
gonna
depends
say,
on the week.
I'm gonna say Ferg there,
Yeah,
but that's funny. That's funny.
especially with Puka back again and Devontae.
Yeah,
So we'll see.
yeah. All right, next one. What's more likely? Sean McVay challenges a call in the first half, so throwing the challenge flag of the game, or the Rams have over 5 sacks the entire game versus the Saints.
You're gonna say they have over 5 sacks. I feel confident about this pass rush this week. I think the Rams offense is gonna put them in a position where the Saints are gonna have to be throwing it a lot. And I just love the Rams pass rush versus any team, but against the Saints too, like I just feel confident over 5 sacks.
Okay. Yeah, I think really like both these could happen. I don't know. There's just something I got vibes. Some sort of play is going to come up. Would it be a Rams versus Saints game if there wasn't a controversial call? Right.
Right? Little throwback there.
Yeah. I mean, like, does that ever happen?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like something happened in 2018.
Yeah. So we got some different perspectives there. Okay, I like it. I like it. I like it. Rams gonna have 18 sacks. Okay, okay. Yeah, let's just break
I'm
every
down.
sack. Yeah, let's make history. Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Okay. What's more likely? The Rams put up a 40 burger on the Saints, or the Saints make it a 1-score game.
I sound so biased this week, but I'm going to say Rams put up 40.
Yeah.
I think that would be more likely than it being a one-score game. To your point earlier, maybe the Rams play more ball control and defensive heavy to make it look closer, but I think that it would be more likely out of those two that they put up 40.
Yep. Yep. I'll just quickly answer this question here. Yes, for until the end of November, you will see me at various hotels.
Doing your tour of hotels.
Yep, exactly. It's a nice one this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Yeah, a lot of people are saying 40 points. I like it. I like it. Okay. With beef prices so high, I need a 40 burger. All right.
I wonder how many people would be saying that it's more likely for them to score 40 points if we didn't have that Jaguars game. Like that game, I think kind of has influenced a lot of people's opinions on like this is what the Rams can do.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see if that didn't happen, what people would think.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Ooh, GP shout out. He says Saints make it a 1-score game. Oh. Okay. Okay. I got one more here for everyone. So anyone who's been watching this show for a while knows that I made a joke in like our first episode that has turned into a prediction that I predicted Troy Reeder gets a pick 6 versus the Saints. There's documentation on the internet various times I have predicted this. So that being said, what's more likely? Troy Reeder gets a pick 6 on Sunday, or Nate Landman forces 2 fumbles on Sunday.
Sorry, I'm going with Landman. I think.
Do you not believe in the Troy Reeder pick 6 prediction?
Here's the thing: if he was on the field more, maybe, but he's not really on the field anymore. It's mainly just Spates and Landman. So I feel like I guess like an injury could happen, and Reeder goes in there, but Landman has already been punching at the ball all year. So I would say 2 fumbles. Maybe that's more so just because there's more opportunity for that to happen than Reeder, who really doesn't get on the field other than special. I guess special, like maybe special. Well, no, you can't have an interception there either. So yeah, I'm going Landman.
Yeah, you know what? That's a really good point. Troy Reeder's not necessarily getting that much playing time, but I'm just saying this could be.
Hey, maybe the Rams are up by a bunch of points. They put the backups in with Troy Reeder, and Troy Reeder gets a pick 6. Like maybe there's an avenue for this to happen. And I just don't see it happening.
I love this by Joe Kim. Reeder return a block kick or a forced fumble on kick return. You know what? I would accept that. I would.
Yeah, honestly.
Oh, hey, Titan Talk, a new Titans podcast I just found. They're great.
Oh
They're,
wow, what's up, Ten Talk?
everyone, if you're looking for a good channel for Titans like fan content, go check them out. It's awesome, and yeah, appreciated them sharing about the McCreary trade for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I have respect for fans when their team isn't the greatest, sticking by them, staying loyal. We
Yep.
had to do that for so many years in St. Louis, those St.
Yeah.
Louis years.
Oh,
So
the
it was
I
worth
don't.
it though.
Yep.
Got to enjoy
Yep.
it while it's here.
Sometimes you have to go through your Jeff Fisher to find
Yep.
your McVay, right?
That's got to be on a T-shirt or a book or something like that. I don't know.
Well, that's going to do it for what's more likely, but it's just the Rams for me.
Good ones.
Yeah, thanks. I do apologize. My voice is almost shot tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of talking. Yeah.
Yeah, but Rams, let's before we end off the show, I would love to know, do you have a prediction of the vibe of this game and like what you think the score could be?
Mm-hmm. I just have a vibe that like this is going to be a game similar to what we saw in the Jaguars game, and maybe it's recency bias. I just like there's no spot on the Saints team that I look at where I'm like, this is a huge strength that they can lean on and kind of like put everything into to try to win a game. Like there's when you look at just like their team stats and what they've been doing on the year and all that, like I just don't see an area where they can lean heavily into this and win the game. They're just like mediocre and like in the middle. Maybe you could bank on Shuck just having a good game as a rookie. I don't know. I have a feeling the Rams are going to play well this game. I think they're going to put up a lot of points, and I think we're going to see some turnovers that the Rams force. And I just have that feeling about it. What about you?
Yeah, I'm similar. Like I feel like if it was like Tyler Shuck really earned this job, but like the reality is Spencer Rattler lost the starting job, right? In his play on the field. Who knows what we're gonna see, in Tyler Shuck, but I just get the vibe that this game is going to favor the Rams. I think the Rams defense probably could be more the story of this game than the Rams offense, just because I don't think the Rams offense will necessarily have to do a whole lot.
That's a good point. It's not they're gonna not need to have to run up the scoreboard if your defense is playing so well. But I just feel like you're gonna have the feeling at the end of the game, whatever the score is, like, oh, the Rams just dominated this game. Like they were clearly the better team. I feel like that's the feeling we're gonna get. At least I hope so.
Yeah. No, totally. Well, Rams House, always a pleasure talking to you on First Down Rams. Do you got anything coming out the next couple of days?
So yeah, I'll clipping out the Over Rams action Wednesday for those who didn't catch it live. There's always a chance that like on Saturday a random upload happens, but likely the next time you'll see me will be after the Saints game, giving my post game reaction there, and then back into game previews and things after that. So, What about you?
Well, I'm going to get my voice all healed up, and then, of course, I'll be having the watch party for the Rams versus Saints, and then I'll have my before and after reaction video to that. And, Rams football is back. It was too long.
Love it.
All right. And, of course, all of you watching with us live or on the replay, thanks so much for tuning in and making us part of your day. We love being a minor character in your story. And, go Rams.
Yeah. Horns up, guys. God bless.